Okay, dudes, let's get to it. Um, Titan would not stop talking, so I uh, I let him down into the house. He got him food, water, and made sure he went to the bathroom. We're good to go. But it is October 29th, 2024, and this is the Eric Johnson Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. One night only, 5 days a week. The Rhythm and Blues Review. The Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, everybody? All right, so I am EJ, your host. This is a weekly show where we talk about space, and yesterday, server racks. I do have the links here. Again, if there's a topic you want to talk about, you let me know, but I'll transfer most of the links here.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Oh, just on a quick side note, while I'm transferring all this stuff, I'd just like to let the YouTube side of things know that I got the AdSense PIN number today. PIN number. I'm tired. Can you tell? I got the AdSense stuff in the mail today for YouTube monetization. So we are getting the ball rolling there. Hey, Matt, what's going on? We talk about space? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. Dude, the dog, man. The doggo. He went back into play mode. So, put him down in the house. I hope he doesn't think I'm punishing him. He might, though. But, we'll go from there. All right. So, I think I got everything there. I think I got everything. Mail isn't snail mail. Yeah, they do that for authentication to verify your address. How fast did you eat? I didn't eat anything, Gaw. I haven't eaten anything since this morning, dude. I've been up since 8. Well, 8 with an asterisk. I let the dog out last night, and he went to the bathroom and everything, and then he woke me up at 4 and had to go to the bathroom again. So, let's just say, like when you're like half asleep in bed, trying to go back to sleep because you woke up in the middle of the night, you get that kind of half sleep. Yeah. Let's just say I woke up at 4 and got out of bed at 8. So I'm tired, man. I'm goosed. really not doing it. Really not doing good today, but we'll go from there. Yeah, okay, man, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. It's just Wait, no, I missed the NSF Memby stream. Wait, what? Yeah, Alan, it happens. It happens. It's okay. Call it after space news. This whole week is, except for Friday, is a condensed schedule. Friday, Bree is home. So, yeah, my Titan time is only in the morning. Bree takes care of it when she gets off work. So, yeah, this is normally, right now, is 5:42. That would be when Bree is getting off work. So Titan woke up and he's like, okay, it's playtime. And I'm like, no, it's not. no, it's not. I already did that. I did that already. So, yeah, we've done that. We've done that already. Okay. So, Creeper has the space news links. Yeah, Paul, it's like having a kid. Well, Ray and I are trying to prepare for that contingency, we'll say. So, yeah, this is kind of what it's, I'm not going to say it's totally going to be like this, but yeah, it's going to be like this for a little bit. Which kind of sucks, but hey, we'll find the balance, I'm not worried. We will find the balance, dudes. Let's see. I have all the links. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in here. Uh, is Brie away for work? She's in London. Yeah. I'm doing a playthrough of RP1, and I've done a couple launches with my WAC Corporal and Aerobee. After my science farming, how much research is this? I don't know, dude. Keeping to a routine matters. Yep. All right. I'm just going to collect the links. It is kind of a slow week, guys, to be honest. The Shenzhou 19 launch did go. Shenzhou is the Chinese crew vehicle, and it's going to Tiangong. So it's coasting right now, but it did launch and it did make it, which is cool. Make it up into space. It hasn't gotten to the station yet, but yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm cooked. All right, let's go. Yeah, the Orion heat shield. We did cover that yesterday, Frillamer. But I'll go through the links that we have. So the first one is a Space News article here. Exoanalytic observes 500 pieces of debris from the Intelsat 33E breakup. Uh-oh. This is a Jason Rainbow article coming from Space News. I'll post the link in the chat for everybody. That man is playing Galaga. Yep. Go over there, give them the clicks. Let's see. U.S.-based space tracking company Exoanalytic Solutions has identified 500 pieces of debris from Intelsat 33E's recent breakup in geostationary orbit. The size of the debris we are tracking ranges from small fragments roughly the size of a softball to large pieces up to the size of a car door. Hey, Gil. 57-month resub. Thank you. The majority of the tracked objects are on the smaller end of that spectrum, which contributes to the consistency of observing all the debris pieces. All right, so a little bit of background here. Intelsat 33E was a satellite that was launched about, I think it was 5 years ago. It is a Boeing Space Systems 703 MP sat bus. I don't know. I thought that was pertinent. And it exploded. Or it got hit by something. Yeah. Launched in 2016. Thank you, 1000. Sorry, my brain scrambled today because of dog. What happens to that debris? It stays there, John. That's the thing. It stays there. It ain't going nowhere. It's just going to keep doing its thing until acted upon by an outside force. The best thing that you can do is mitigate it at this point and make sure it doesn't domino affect other satellites. Having a dog to prepare for a kid doesn't make any sense. It's like pulling your hair, trying to go for a haircut. The love for your kid is not even in the same ballpark compared to the dog, so making the same sacrifices is just ridiculous. Yeah, you know what, Virtual? You're right. You're right, dude. You're right, dude. We figure it'd be a good, test. Okay. I understand that. To even sit here and imply that a human would be on the same level as a dog is kind of stupid, and I'm frankly kind of annoyed that you'd think that I would think that, but, just take what I say at face value, dude. Sure, go ahead. Certainly not making my day any easier, that's for sure. So yeah, the Intelsat 33E debris is up there. And yeah, it's the thing is, guys, it's that's not the only Boeing 703 MP sat bus that's blown up. So we don't know, like, if it happened to one satellite, Can a domino effect? Yeah. Yeah, Adam, if it hits something, it could knock another satellite out of orbit. I mean, satellites really aren't designed to be hit into each other, even debris. If this happened to one Boeing satellite, then I'd be like, it's probably micrometeorite debris. Probably got hit, which is very unlikely. But it's not the it's not the first one to do this. It's the second one to do it, which is no good. That points to a trend that the SAT bus is not made very well. There are other 703 SAT buses that have popped, which is not good. Once again, because that debris is not going to go anywhere. It's stuck. It's stuck there. It doesn't have any thrusters, so it's just going to sit there unless we have some way to go up there and get it. It's just going to sit there unless acted upon by an outside force. Sorry, I didn't mean to be discouraging. Much the opposite. Okay. I don't really know how I'd get encouragement out of what you said, but sure. Thanks, man. I mean, yeah, yes, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any kids. Not yet, at least. Maybe someday. Your face cam is kind of green. Thank you. Yeah, that sucks. It's not good. Oh, hang on. There's a little bit of a thing here. Hold up. In this article, there's a link. Here. Let's see what this looks like. Oh. Oh, that's bad. Wow. The way that's propagating is very consistent with an explosion. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah, see. Geostationary, geosynchronous. See the difference? Pretty cool, huh? This is actually a super good graphic to show how people mistake satellites out in geo for alien spaceships all the time. You guys ever notice how, like, oh, I looked at the alien spaceship and it just turned. Nothing can turn like that. No airplanes can turn like that. It's most likely a satellite. See the satellites change direction because they're in geo. See, how long is that going to stay in orbit? Forever, till the heat death of the universe, unless acted upon. Yeah, this Comstock thing is very, yeah. See, yeah, that's very consistent with an explosion. I only know because when stuff Kraken strikes in Kerbal, that's what the debris map looks like. See how you have certain pieces of debris that are shooting off at higher speeds? Yeah. If this thing got hit, it would all kind of, well, I can't say that for sure. Depends on really where it got hit. Once again, it could be micrometeorite debris. It might not be. Could be anything. How many parts did it break into? They're tracking over 500 parts. Intelsat 33, debris 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could you post the link? Sure. This is, oh God, that's going to be an awful link. Here, let's do it this way. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's bad, dude. I'll link it up over for the YouTube video, for the YouTube bod people as well. This is the Intelsat 33E satellite, or was. It popped. And you see, look,
Discovery,
all that debris just gets stuck in geo. Yeah, that's bad. Oh. Yeah, see all that crap, just one, all it's going to take is one, and all that debris is going to hit something else. That's no good. Nick, 31-month resub. Thank you. Potentially attacked or just a fault? Well, hi Fox, that sat bus, it's a Boeing satellite. It's a Boeing satellite chassis, and that's not the first one to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably not an attack or micrometeorite debris. Let me put it like that. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. No problem. What is the history of sats of that type that have done the same? A lot of them have popped. Here. That is a BSS 703. Or 702, excuse me. It's one of the, I keep saying 703. It's that. That's the sat bus. .702 MP, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, not great. Here, let's take a look. So some of them are Sirius XM if you listen to satellite radio. Some of them are Viasat, which is an internet service provider. There's Intelsat 33E. Yeah, see, +3. Yeah, see, 29. 29 also popped. Not good. Yeah, 15 years planned, 3 active. Uh-oh. When did this explode? Last week. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good, man. Yeah, these are also DirecTV satellites. See that? ABS-2A. Yeah, that was a SpaceX launch. Eutelsat 115. What's the next one to go? Yeah, about that. Yeah, about that. Since it's geostationary, does that mean the debris is centered over a part of Earth? Yes. There's 38 more based on that bus in orbit. Yeah, these are all that's all of them right there. So basically you have like a satellite bus and then you can attach whatever antennas and radiators you want to it and go from there. So like if you want a Sirius Satellite XM antenna, sometimes you don't even change the antenna. Sometimes it's just you buy it and then you just tune it to the right frequency. These are used for DirecTV, Sirius XM. They're used for all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's not good, man. That's 2 of 702 MPs that have popped. They're both Intelsats, so unless Intelsat is doing something specific to these things to get them to do that, yeah, that's no, yeah, yeah. It'll get spread out to all of geosynchronous over time. Is there regulation of some sort, a governing body that could potentially fine these companies for filling up with space debris? So how it works in space is that the country of origin is responsible. The satellite, whatever launched from whatever country it belonged to, it's that country's responsibility per the 67 Outer Space Treaty. I think that's the regulatory framework for it, I think. Per 702, or not 702, 19 per the 1967 Space Treaty, that country is beholden to that country's laws. So Intelsat, I believe, is American, I think, or that could be Viasat. Yeah, Intelsat is yeah, their headquarters are in Virginia. So yeah, it's the FCC. It's the FCC that can go after. That's not going to go after them, but it's. My brain doesn't work today, guys. I'm sorry. I can't. My brain is not working. You get the idea. It's beholden to the country of origin. Well, it might not be Boeing. It might be the operator. Because as far as I can tell, Element, it's 2 Intelsat satellites that have done that. So remember how I said you can modify these satellites out of a la carte, right? So as far as I can tell, it's the 2 Intelsat satellites that have popped. So they might not be operating the satellite correctly. So you know, they're not going to go after Boeing. They might go after Intelsat, but I don't know. Um, oh, okay, Phantom. Thank you. Yeah, it's show and hide. Yeah, Wikipedia. Nice overlap you got going there. Also, fun fact: the design stems back from Hughes Satellite Systems days. Used to be HSS 702 until Boeing bought them out. I've heard this story before, Phil. Only not with satellites. But anyway, let's see. What's on the what's the next one to go? Yeah, Viasat 3. That's right. Viasat 3 exploded too. Yeah, so it's not just Intelsat. Yeah, the BSS 702 experienced antenna deployment anomaly that limited throughput to less than 10. Oh, less than 10%. Nice. Ooh. Yeah, satellite broke up October 2024. Intelsat 29 developed a fuel leak in April 2019 during attempts to recover the satellite, experienced another anomaly, and debris was spotted around the satellite, declared lost. Hang on. Ever heard of AsiaSat 3 HGS1? Crazy story. I've heard of it, Shortline. I don't remember. My brain's not doing good today, guys. I'm super tired. Are there realistic initiatives to collect space debris? No, not really. Those marked as failures in red were launch failures, by the way. It's kind of misleading. Yeah. This is referring to the failure in the... Yeah. Let's just go by order date. ABS 8 got canceled. So Intelsat 33E popped. 29E popped. Viasat 3 Americas popped. SXM 7 popped, but I don't know if that... I don't know if that... Oh, Amos 17. Amos 17 is a 702. Damn, dude, this is a really popular sat bus. Didn't realize all these satellites. WGS... Oh, gosh. Uh-oh. WGS 9 and 10. Those are weather satellites. Like the weather satellites that get you your meteorology reports. Yeah, that's... Yeah, Eutelsat 117 West B. That's... Dude. Man. SXM7 was Maxer. Yeah, that did pop, though. 33 apparently had a problem that's been known for years. Well, it seems like these things have fuel problems. There's problems with propulsion. I mean, pretty damn good success rate. A lot of these things are pretty good. Yeah. I'm noticing that there's some... Some interesting stuff going on there. The repercussion of Intelsat 708 still to this day. 33E propulsion problems to cut service by 3 to 5 years. Yep. Something, I'm not sure if something is wrong with that particular satellite bus. But also, it could be operator. Could be. But then again, Viasat 3 and Intelsat are not the same company, and both of those satellites had very, well, they had different failures. So, like I said, it could be Intelsat operating the satellites. There's a bunch of different things that could be. Anyway. Over 500 pieces of debris indicates an explosion. It popped. The fuel, the hypergulls leaked or something. Yeah. Or they overheated or whatever. Anyway, let's go to the next thing here. This is coming from NASA EGS. Not so spooky. Not so spooky spider. EGS teams from Kennedy recently mated the spider to the SLS core stage for Artemis 2. The spider, held up by the transportation integration fixture, attaches to the top of the core stage and is the connection point for lifting operations within the VAB. Yeah, this thing. The hat. I call it a spider. It's the hat. See? That is the lifting point. That's where the crane attaches to bring this thing vertical. That's a good sign, dudes. Honestly, that's good news. Once again, I would like to just casually remind everybody that SLS is not the bottleneck in the Artemis program. The capsule is. Just thought I'd let you know. So you can hate on SLS all you want, but it's not the bottleneck. That's actually on time. Rocco Max Adapter 02. Damn right it is, right? Dude, that's absolutely what it is. What could they have realistically put on it as an end user that would have made it explode? I don't know. Yarg, I'm just offering alternative theories. If I had to guess, the thing popped because the fueling system wasn't installed correctly. That points to a quality control issue. Which, look, man, we don't deal too much with speculation here, but that does read. That does read right. QC issues? Okay. Didn't have any QC issues when it was Hughes Satellite, now did it? Base NASA would launch SLS 24 times a year. Erudite, 24 times a year is not, you don't need to launch this 24 times a year. We can recoup the development costs for SLS and get a good scientific return if we launch this thing every quarter. That's fine. That's good enough, dude. That's enough. Because, like, okay, so think about this, dude. Unless you want overlapping lunar missions, right? You launch this thing, it gets somebody out to the moon. They have a duration stay on the moon, right? So you launch it week out to the, or no, what is it? 3 days out to the moon? And then 2 weeks on the surface or something? And then, 3 days back, recovery operations? That whole mission is going to take, I don't know, month and a half? Like, to get all the ops ready to go, that's provided the booster stack too, right? Like, you incorporate booster stacking with multiple high bays, you can get this done. 4 times a year is fine. That's fine. That's what the Saturn V was doing at the height of the Apollo program. 4 times is fine. That way you immediately take, you get like a month leeway to review data from that last flight, and then you just send it again. Do the same thing over again. Treat it like an ISS mission, 6 months. Negative. No. Negative. No. 1 launch a year, 2 launches a year is not good enough. I mean, you could get away with it. Like, Ordon, I see what you're saying. Any plus is good. If 4 times a year is really what SLS needs, that will bring the cost down. That will bring the costs down. That will get our scientific yields up, and that'll put people on the moon, and I think that's what people want to see. Once again, it's a super, super unpopular opinion, but guys, I don't think people would care if SLS costs as much as it does if it put people on the moon and launched on time. I don't think people would care. I really don't. I don't know, Erudite. I have no idea. NASA is in a holding pattern for 7 more days. Yes, that. No, I don't want to talk about it. I'm being spoon-fed political ads because I live in close proximity to New Hampshire, which is a swing state. I don't want to talk about it. It's so obnoxious, dude. It's gotten so bad. The X feed, even in the following tab, is just Orange man, Orange man, Orange man, Vice President, Vice President, Orange man, Vice President, Orange man, Vice President. I'm like, dude, I just want to know about space. I just want to know about space. I just want to know about space. Like, I'm here for the space. Okay. With that being said, Orange Rocket, very good. Orange Rocket, good. Same, and I'm Canadian. Oh God, gold. It's so bad, dude. Now, once again, with all that being said, you should vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. You can pencil in Mickey Mouse's for all I care. I don't care. I really don't. You should vote, though. You don't use that, you're going to lose it. That goes with any right, but go vote, please. Please do it. I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. I live in Michigan. I've gotten 12 text messages and 2 walk-ups to the house today. I just want it to be over. Jeez. I'm in proximity to a swing state, and it's gotten so bad, dude. But anyway, yeah, I'll just casually remind everybody here that you'll never hear what my political opinions are. I don't discuss politics with friends or family. Well, except if it's Thanksgiving dinner and I want to troll, in which case I'm not sharing my opinion. I just say what I know is going to piss somebody off because I'm kind of a jerk like that. But also that makes holidays fun. Enemies? No, I don't talk to them, Mana. So I guess I just kind of keep it to myself. I know. Weird in this day and age. Do you think Starship will hit the goal of an unmanned mission to Mars in 2026? It's possible, Trey. It's possible, dude. Sure. You're writing in Jim Bridenstine? Oh, yeah, dude. Let's go. That's a good idea. Re-elect Mayor Goldie Wilson. Funny enough, I'm getting walk-ups to my home every day now. The funny thing is, both parties change each other's flyers off your porch. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That is the extent of what you'll hear with politics. Just vote. Just go vote. And remember, your local election, if you're in the U.S., your local election is way more important to your immediate surroundings than a federal election is. So don't forget to vote in those midterms, too. Those are important. Do it. Trust me. Has Elon's recent political involvement harmed the stream at all? No. Arsenal, all that's done is just made it very obvious who doesn't like him. But guys, once again, I'm not going to tell you if I agree or disagree with him. I'm here for the technology and the space. That's it. I know that seems weird in this day and age, right? But I'd like to keep at least a little modicum of professionalism here when it comes to that. I just don't want to talk about it. Like, especially don't want to talk about it with you guys. Like, not like I don't discuss it with friends, dude. You want to stay friends with people? Don't talk politics with them. Like, it's that simple. And it's weird because that puts me in a very weird juxtaposition because it very much seems like everybody wants to throw their hat into the ring nowadays. I don't. I'm just going to sit here and think what I think. And I'm not going to tell anybody about it, despite having a platform for it. I'm not going to do that. You know why? All right, I'm going to be real for a second. Because I'm not a piece of shit. Okay, maybe a little. I'll time myself out. Anyway, back to our space news. SLS needs to launch four times a year. 4 times a year is enough to get this done right. Yeah, there you go, Tiz. That's right. Who cares about morals? Look what Paperclip got us. I never said nothing about morals. I just say I don't want to talk about it, man. You are, but it's unrelated to politics. It's the Ford dilemma. Well, this is my stream, Spoon. Ford reigns supreme here. All right? I don't care what anybody says. You're going to bring that Chevy crap in here? Guess what? Now this is happening. Now, guess what? You could have prevented this if you just let it go, but now, no, see? You could have prevented this. Your neutrality is appreciated. We're here for space too. That's right, Dan. I mean, look, I'm your entertainment, man. I'm your entertainment. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that crap from me. How cringe is it when, like, a content creator goes off on that stuff? Dude, I see it. I see it, and I'm not going to be a part of it. Absolutely not. But, vote. Oh, look at that HVAC pipe. All right. Nice beard from that dude. So, yeah. Guys, I'll be honest with you. Them putting the cap on here is a pretty good... Like I said, NASA's kind of in a holding pattern until the election, right? But also, they wouldn't be putting that on there if they weren't thinking about stacking sometime soon. That's a good thing. That's what we want. We want that on there. Because that's part of the stacking processing flow. You're not going to put the hoist for the booster on the booster if you don't plan to hoist it sometime soon, right? That's a good thing. This is what we want. How will SLS launch 4 times per year if it takes a full year just to stack and prepare the rocket for launch? Jolie, well, 2 high bays will do it. You need 2 high bays. Okay, all right. It's a good question. I think Michoud can scale, to be honest with you. I think how they have the SLS processing flow set up here, it was always meant to be able to be scaled. They're just haven't done it yet because there's no reason to, right? I mean, I've always said you give them a reason, they'll do it, right? I think that they can scale, guys. That's long story short. Why can't they go faster? I think they're metering it because that's what's needed. You think that Michoud can't scale to build faster? Of course they can. They have the Artemis 3 core is already in the pipe. They can absolutely ramp. Sure, why wouldn't they? Do we have the RS-25s ready? Propulsion would be your long lead item, Surette. That's a good point. It's up to Aerojet Rocketdyne or L3 Harris or whatever the heck they're called nowadays. Lido's Bananarama Company or whatever. Propulsion would definitely be your long lead item in this case. But I think provided that Michoud has all the parts that they need, they can definitely scale. Sure, why not? Block buys scale things nicely. Yeah, because then you set up your contracts for an assembly line. That's why Dead Crew... Think about where we would be if Jim had done a block buy like I wanted in 2019. Think of where we would be. We would be at the point where they would pretty much, 5 years, pandemic and everything, right? They would be scaling right now. We would have another core probably in the pipe at this point. At least the Artemis 3 core. You know what I mean? How much does Michoud handle Saturn V first stages? Oh, you're going to give me an excuse to show off this picture that I love. Here, check this out. Give me a moment. How's that? Oh, yeah. Heads up, Ship 33 is going through cryo. Yep, I have Starbase Live up on the other screen. They are building more RS-25s, Dan. Yeah, sure. There's, like I said, guys, the reason... And once again, I can't bring this up enough. The reason why these contractors take so freaking long and why stuff is so freaking expensive is because these rockets don't have missions. Artemis 1, 2, and 3 have missions, and you can see that processing flow. If we ordered all of the cores and all the SRB casings and all of the propulsion, I do believe we have RS-25s ordered out to Artemis 12, if I'm remembering correctly. I'd have to go look. If you, pony up the cash to do it, or the contracts, whatever. Obviously, firm fixed price for your propulsion. You're making RS-25s. These are something that we've known how to make for a long time. Uh, except the RS-25E is a redesign because they restarted a 40-year-old rocket engine's production line. Just saying. So once they have that dialed in, block buy them, procure propulsion out to Artemis 20, and then go from there because the propulsion is your long lead. Remember? Do you guys remember, if you're a SpaceX nutter, right? If you and you're sick of listening to this SLS conversation, just hear me out. You remember about 2 years ago when Elon said that propulsion could bankrupt SpaceX unless they figure out a way to scale Raptor? There you go. He's right. He's absolutely right. We got our RS-25s ready until Artemis 4, and 24 RS-25s are on order up to Artemis 10. That's what it is, Trey. Thank you. So, like I said, these contractors have no reason to go fast. Can you tell me when Artemis 4 is happening? You can't even tell me when Artemis 3 is happening. Artemis 2, yeah, sometime next year. Not good enough. You got to give them something to scale to. If they don't have a deadline to scale to, there's no point. Like, there's no point for them to be urgent. Also, here's another picture from Michoud from the 60s. Yes, Michoud can scale. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The RS-25E is the new variant that they're working on, Alan. They are RS-25Es are using RS-68 manufacturing methods to make RS-25s. They're an expendable version of the RS-25. Technically, the Block 2 SSME is the RS-25D. Technically, that's not its name, though. It's a space shuttle main engine. But yeah, of course Michoud can scale. Sure, why not? You got to give them, you got to tell them what to scale. You can't scale nothing. You can't scale out off a whim, right? If you give them something to scale to, they'll build to it. Oh, those photos are money, dude. Oh yeah. I got a lot of good stuff in my private collection. These are just pictures from NASA, pictures from NASA's archive. Dude, I got a lot of good stuff like that. Look at this stuff. These are 70 millimeters pictures, so they are super high res. They look like they were taken yesterday. Oh, yeah, baby. So what were RS-25 A, Bs, and Cs? Broken. That's nice. Oh yeah, there's also that picture. That picture doesn't suck. Oh yeah. That's that little guy. Yeah, see, I got a bunch of good pictures in here. Don't worry. Don't you worry. We got a lot of good stuff. Hard deadlines are what's always needed, Trey. Yep. See, the VAB is capable of scaling. We need another mobile launcher as well. We all know how that's going. Yeah, I don't know if Earthrise was a 70 millimeter, but this may be upscaled, but I don't think it is. Fun fact, the way it was presented to everybody is actually like that. When in reality, Apollo 8 was in a free return, so they were retrograde insertion. So the Earth came up over the horizon on, like, the moon's north pole is up here, the south pole is down here. The equator is right here. And they were rotating this way around the moon. Yeah, that's what Earthrise is. But how it's portrayed in a way we understand with the horizon at the bottom. Yeah. In fact, that's what they saw when the Earth rose on Apollo 8. Also, that picture is dope. It's one of the best pictures taken from space ever. We'll get pictures like that sooner rather than later. Yep. Oh. That's so freaking cool, dude. Stop spinning. No, I like spinning. It's a good trick. I want to see people on the moon. It would be great if the next president set a hard deadline. Yeah, whomever gets in there. Yeah, if they start, they need deadlines. Yeah, that's Yeah, they need deadlines are going to drive your costs, man. I've been saying this. So Trey, you haven't watched the stream very long because you're on the YouTube side of things, or at least I would assume, right? Forgive me for assuming. I've been saying this since about 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. You can't. Everybody's like, SLS is so expensive. It's like they always just sit there and they say, man, it's expensive. I don't want it. But nobody ever bothers to delve into why. Why is it so expensive? Why is it so seemingly expensive? Hey, Balo, 66-month resub. Thank you. And then Nick Knack had a 33 in there as well. Right? Why is it so expensive? Right? Like, it's expensive because there's no incentive to be cost effective when you have no deadline. What's their incentive? What's the incentive there for Boeing or any contractor to deliver anything on a reasonable schedule? They have nothing to scale to. How are you supposed to do that? Well, how are you supposed to do that? I think it's fair criticism, a fair question to ask, right? Like, what is Boeing's incentive right now to get the Artemis 3 core done faster? There is no reason for them to do that. There's no reason. Why isn't there a reason? Well, it's because it's not launching anytime soon now, is it? However, if, say, in a couple of months, the National Spaceflight Council convenes and said, hey, we got to get back to the moon by 2026. Well, now they're going to be like, oh, crap, we got to get this done. That stage needs to be done by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, not 2024. Okay, cool. That gives incentive to get things done. We already saw that the last time in 2018 when the National Spaceflight Council said we want to get back to the moon in 2024. We already saw the whole system start to scale, and that's why we got Artemis 1, the Artemis 1 launch on a seemingly, like, did you notice that after that happened, stuff started falling into place and they started manufacturing things? You know, they started figuring out faster ways to assemble the SLS core. They were going to build the SLS cores vertically. And that it's funny because they went back to building them vertically. But the first SLS core was actually assembled horizontally like an external tank. And based off of what they learned from that, they figured out a better processing flow to make SLS cores faster. Basically making the MPS in a clean room environment at the SSPF at the Cape. If that makes no sense to you, that if you build the propulsion section for SLS in a clean room environment, because it's basically the back of a space shuttle with 4 engines, and then you made it to the tank in the VAB, they figured out a better processing flow just from one arbitrary deadline, or seemingly arbitrary deadline. See what I'm saying, man? Yeah, Baron, of course, yeah. The previous vice president did like space, but we need to make space a national priority. I mean, if you want to look at it from its root cause, like if you want to look at it from a Cold War perspective, right? If you want to look at it like that, it's a matter of national security. Do we want to see another potentially adversarial country going to the moon or Mars? They're kind of eating our lunch right now. I mean, we got them on reusable launch vehicles, though. You know, those guys, the Chinese wish they had Starship. You wish you had that. You wish you could do this. But it'd be foolish to think that they wouldn't figure this out eventually. Mr. Bean cheating.jpg. Right? So, like I said, you have to have a deadline. If there's no deadline to scale to, what's the point? When do we expect Starship in Florida? T-Man, we'll get Starship in Florida when, I'd say when it's fully operational, when HLS is ready to go. Also, here's more pictures from the archive. I like everything that's going on in this. That's test stand 4670 at Marshall, testing the first S1C. Little bit of an Apollo history thing here. The first Saturn V first stage, SA500F, I believe, is what it's called. I think that's SA500F. was made at Marshall. Every other one was made at Michoud. The first one was made at Marshall, and they built it. They just built one. They built one to check everything and make sure that it worked. And just building one, they were able to figure out how to make it faster. And they optimized what's called processing flow at Michoud later. Later, they were assembled. The S1Cs were actually put together vertically and then assembled horizontally. They were manufactured vertically, assembled horizontally. There's a huge high bay in Michoud that was used to put the stuff together. We saw a SLS Artemis 3, the LOX tank. We saw it move out of there. But there they are testing SA500F on test stand 4670. 4670 is still there. Blue Origin uses it for BE4s. But also, look at all the old iron, man. Look at all the old iron forklifts, dude. Dude, look. Suburban. All right. Fairlane, Falcon, Pontiac. Very nice. Oh, also, there's just an F1 engine sitting there, by the way. Just in case, you wanted to see how big a Saturn V first stage engine is compared to a car. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's bigger than a car. Is Saturn V a four-stage rocket? No, it's a three-stage. Any word on Starship in Vandenberg? I've heard nothing in Vanna. No. But, man, like, are we really going to sit here and think that they're not going to do that? They're going to do that. Don't talk to me about those F-100s. Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a Chevy Apache right there. That looks like a 58 Apache. You got a 64 step side, 64 F-100 step side. That looks like a Dodge over there. That's a Dodge D100. I'll take this one. Maybe that one too. You know what? I want all of them. I want all of them. There's a Suburban right there. Old Suburban. There's an Econoline right there. Another Suburban is right there. Depends on what the Coastal Commission says. And man, I'm only going to say this once. How badly do you have to screw up to get the governor of California and Elon Musk to agree with each other? That's how you know you done something wrong. You screwed up. Am I wrong? Like, those two don't see eye to eye on much, but also I'm pretty sure the California Coastal Commission is in the wrong. pretty sure they're in the wrong. Any Chinese cars in that view? Heck no, man. It's all American stuff, dude. What's the possibility of an SLS redesign using Methalox in the distant future? You'd probably be better off Surrett designing a new rocket if you were going to do that. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Enough said. Agreed. Yeah, dude. How badly did you screw up? I'm sorry. That's wicked funny to me. You know, they go back and forth. I hate you. No, I hate you. You're a dick. No, you're a dick. Yeah, you can't launch from here. Think of the SEALs. You. Yeah. You. Right? Like, pretty much how that went down. Man, I don't know, man. We'll see. We just become best friends. Yep. Want to go launch rockets on the coast? Yep. Like, hey, this fight's between us. Leave us alone. That was me drawing out something. Oh, I got video in here?
We have been given the scientific knowledge, the technical ability,
give me a second.
and the materials to pursue the exploration of the universe. To ignore these great resources would be a corruption of a God-given ability.
It was there. I'm sorry. I had to.
10, 9, ignition.
Sorry, I can't stop it. The player's broken. Please.
5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. The player's broken. I'm sorry. I can't hit the stop button. I'm sorry. I'm awake! I'm awake! Nice, and a basted bomber pill. Yep. That's nice. I don't hate it. Hands dip. All right. Don't take it. I don't need it. Don't stand up. I don't know what you're talking about, man. No, I'm good. My back hurts. I can't stand up. I'll tell you. The SpaceX recap of every Starship mission gives me the nerd chills. Like, that gives me the nerd chills, dudes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they were worried about thermal problems with the... Oh, wait, hold up. One last thing. We gotta get this last part. Hold on. They were worried about thermals from the F1, so they wrapped them in asbestos. Yeah, that was the solution. Okay. Yeah, yeah. See the engine? It's wrapped in asbestos. Because, yeah, they were worried about them convecting heat. And basically the back end of a rocket in this area right here is an aerodynamic dead zone. And because of that, it's at really low pressure. It actually creates a vacuum, and it sucks all the heat into well, not sucks all the heat. It sucks all the air up there. And what air that does get trapped there gets basically superheated. And they were worried about the outside of the engines melting each other. So they wrapped them in asbestos. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah. Yeah, see? Asbestos. Wish we still knew how to build F1 engines. I would love to see the engines that size used on rockets. You know what, Trey? I honestly think we could. Like, with SpaceX doing what they're doing, they're showing that we can still do stuff like that. You know, I'm beginning to believe, not beginning. I'm honestly, like, you know, the whole thing for the longest time was like, we don't need to. We forgot how to build this. What? That's the most copium. How much copium are you huffing? We can remake an F1 engine. Of course we could. It's ridiculous. SpaceX can crank out Raptor engines. We could remake an F1. We just gotta want to. That's the difference. It's the same kind of bullcrap that people were saying at the end of the shuttle program. Everyone was, every spaceflight pundit and critic at the time was like, reusability doesn't make sense. The shuttle proved that. Reusability doesn't make sense. The shuttle proved it. They sounded like that too, I swear. You know, just more cope. You know, like, we've been, like, conditioned to, like, just settle for a crappy space program. Hell no. We could build that. We could build another Saturn V. Of course we could. Why couldn't we? Like, seriously. Well, you know, yeah, I get it. There's manufacturing and stuff. Dude, you telling me we couldn't crank out an F1? That's pathetic. Of course we could. The money in the proposal. Yeah, all right. There's other guys just doing a full flow stage combustion cycle engine. They're mass producing it. All right. There's no excuse anymore. There's no excuse. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. We didn't lose the plans. We lost the hands-on experience and tribal knowledge because each engine was kind of unique and custom built. That's pretty much it, Dan. Yes, it would be an uphill battle. We could do it. There were a lot of field modifications done to the Saturn V. There's not necessarily a high serialization of parts, but spoiler alert, that's how most things were in the 60s, dude. Like, We didn't get the manufacturing precision that we have nowadays. But you to sit here and insinuate that we couldn't remake the Saturn V with stir welded tanks, and like additively manufactured F1s. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. Cope harder. Of course we could. No excuse face. Deflame trench, please. Wasn't it also proposed to use F1 engine as side cores on SLS? Yeah, you're talking about Pyreos boosters. The F1B. Yeah, the F1B. Simplified F1 engine. It used an ablative nozzle instead of regenerative, and it was open cycle like the Merlin engine, so it shoots the turbo pump, turbo pump gas generator exhaust gets shot out the side. Yeah, cope. Of course we could. You know, I used to spout that nonsense too, like we lost the technical expertise. Bull crap, dude. Bull crap. You see some of the stuff that we crank out? If leveraged correctly, we could absolutely make one. The F1B is trash? Wait, what? Really? I don't think the F1B is trash. I think it's pretty good. Hey, look, 3 mobile launchers. Interesting. What we need to do is rebuild LR-87s. I want the launch whoop back. Yeah, exactly, Ethereal. We can't. Yeah, you know what? Even if you're insistent on us not being able to rebuild F1s, we could build something better. You'd clean sheet the design, but you could build something better. Everything else is just cope. Like, you know, and that's what I think. That's what drives me up the wall the most, dude. Like, you know, like we've been conditioned to settle for. Oh no, space station freedom. No. Do the ISS instead. You'll save some money. No. The space shuttle constellation. No. That's too expensive. Here, do commercial crew instead. Like, oh yeah, that's a good thing. No. I refuse. No. I want SLS and Starship. I want more SLS. I want more Starship. I will not compromise as a spaceflight fan. That's bullcrap. We've been conditioned to do that. Oh, well, we don't need SLS. It's too expensive. Let's just use Starship. You understand that's less rockets, right? Is that what you want? You want less rockets? I don't want less rockets. That's stupid. Cope. So what's the engine after Raptor, assuming they decide to build a Hydrolox one at some point? T-Rex? Yeah, that'd be sick, man. Why did NASA go with mobile launchers? Weight. Weight is the biggest one, dude. Weight. Yeah. A clean pad design and moving it with the crawler transporter is the best way to distribute the weight evenly over an area with a low water table. So this is civil engineering now. Okay. Think about it like this. Every rocket up until that point had an assembly building that's right next to the pad, right? Think about if the VAB was next to the launch pad. And then somehow they had to get the VAB to move, to like pick itself up and move. It doesn't make sense doing that. It makes way more sense to move the pad. It's funny because you see this exact same convergent design happening with SpaceLX. Sorry, brain's fried. You see it happening with SpaceX and OLMB. They're doing the exact same thing. They're manufacturing the entire pad and then moving it there as a subassembly. Now, it's not the exact same thing, but history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. See what I'm saying? You're seeing convergent design for similar reasons, but not for the same exact thing. You know what I mean? SpaceLX. That sounds like the name of a bad breakdancer. My brain was trying to combine Starship, HLS, and OLM and SpaceX all into one word. I don't know. Your boy's a little tired today, so my points aren't as articulate as they usually are. No, that's Ray Gun. Okay, cool. Somebody picked up where I was going with that. Thanks, Coltec. Give that, please. Please. Anyway, so yeah, it's actually like, think about if you had to build the VAB next to the pad, next to the launcher, next to the rocket, that would sink into the ground. The easier way is to spread it out. Also, if the rocket blows up on the pad, you have another one. You could just pick it up, move it, and put it over there, and put it in your happy place, and then take a new one and set it right back down on the pad. See what I'm saying? It was kind of the right, that's kind of the right mentality for what the Apollo program was trying to do, because they were in a rush. Remember that. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge serves to organize and measure the best of our skills. Because that goal is one we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. And the others. Check this out. What's that, Tiz? Oh, dude, I've seen this many times, and I would pay good money to see that. My one big problem with this is the ML is facing the wrong direction. Yeah. There's no way to integrate the rocket if the launch umbilical tower is in the way. But James did this way because he wanted to show the rockets, but also I'm still hanging on to it, guys. I'm still hanging on to it. I think SpaceX is going to lease High Bay 1. I don't think they're going to use it for Starship integration, because that doesn't make any sense with the chopsticks, right? I think they'll use it to store stuff, to store Falcons, though. Think about it. It makes perfect sense. Use it as a hangar for Starships. You could stack like 4 or 5 of them in the walls of the VAB. No problem. Store a couple of boosters. I had a theory, and this theory all stems from, okay, so look. This is EJ's wild theory time, okay? We'll just, wild theory, okay? So look, RGV took this picture. We looked at this picture yesterday. Look, that flame trench is 16 meters wide. It's about 60 feet. Why? 60-foot wide flame trench for a 9-meter rocket, or a 30-foot wide rocket. It's double. You don't need a flame trench that big for this rocket. I mean, you might go, 70 meganewtons of thrust. You kind of might. But here's the thing. Not a lot of people know that complex 39, so 39A and B, guess how big their flame trenches are? 60 feet. I've stood in one. I've stood in 39B's trench. It's 60 feet. It's 16 meters wide. It's huge. Saturn V is a 10-meter rocket. The reason why they made those flame trenches so big is because they're designed for the Nova rocket. It was designed to scale. The Nova rocket was Saturn, let's call it the Saturn VIII. It was what they wanted to do. They wanted to scale up from the Saturn V, or make a bigger rocket to get you more throw weight into Leo, so you could build bigger transfer vehicles. Oh, dude, they had stuff planned. It was so good, dude. Oh, man. Read about the Apollo Applications Program if you want to get annoyed or excited. I mean, whatever. I don't know. Now, do I think that SpaceX is going to scale Starship eventually? Yeah. Elon has pretty much said that on Twitter, that that's where they want to go in the next 10 years. They want to make a bigger one, you know? Starship could be the A320 of airplanes, and then that newer version of Starship, the bigger one, could be like the 747 of planes. Could be the Queen of the Wild Black Yonder, Queen of the Skies. Queen of the Skies doesn't really make sense with rockets, but you get the idea. Nova was supposed to do Mars return in a single launch. I mean, Yarg is truly a monster. 8 F1 engines in the first stage. That's comparable thrust to Starship. Queen of the Stars. Yeah. So, okay. So what does that have to do with my theory? What am I saying here? So guys, I don't think it's a coincidence that that's the same width as 39A. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that they're doing that because, I mean, if you go and look at 39A, they're not, at 39A, they're not really doing anything with the Starship stuff over there. They actually dismantled the pad like 6 or 7 months ago. They dismantled the pad that they had there, indicating that they're switching to a different design, right? Oh, yeah, that's awesome. And once again, I don't think it's a coincidence that SpaceX is going from a circular OLM to a square one. Not only are they going to a square one, but they're going to a square one that's designed to fit over a 16-meter trench. So my wild theory is that SpaceX is going to move Falcon Heavy operations off of 39A and reconfigure 39A for a Starship as a Starship launch pad. And they're going to use the VAB as their mega bay to store ships. I think they'll build out at Roberts Road. Obviously, there's going to be a high bay over there, right? And they're going to use the VAB as a hangar. Payload integration, booster storage. You'd be stupid not to do that, right? It's a little bit of a wild theory, I'll admit, but if you think about it, guys, it makes a lot of sense. Dude, that crawler transporter, the crawler transporter could move 2 Starships and 2 Super Heavies out there, no problem. If you made like a mobile launcher for the CT, right? Not necessarily moving a stack like this. No. I'm talking, and not even a mobile launcher. I'm just talking a platform that you use to transport. Something analogous to the booster, the booster transport stands. You could fit like 4 of them on there. And the crawler transporter can move it. Easily. Like, easily. And then, so inside of the VAB, dudes, there are high bays. And inside of the high bays, there's spots for service gantries, okay? And you can use those to store stuff. You could use those to store Starships. You could just stack them up the walls like a bookshelf if you really wanted to. The reason how I know, it's been done. They did it in the shuttle program with external tanks, dude. Oh, yeah. It actually might be in my shuttle pictures. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. See? Look. This is High Bay 1. See this area right here for service gantries? You could just put a mount right here and you could just place a Starship down. You could just stack them up the walls. That would be really good if you had like multiple types of Starships, right? Also, High Bay 1 has basically been abandoned since 2011, and it's really annoying. These are my shuttle research pictures. Yeah, they used to stack external tanks in High Bay 4. Yeah, they stacked them on top of each other. You could fit 2 of them on top of each other inside of the high bays. That's where they staged parts for building the shuttle stacks. I might have a picture of it. I don't know. Let me take a look. Ah, Centaur G. Oh, there it is. Yep, there you go. See? That's my wild theory. It's probably not going to happen, but it could. Where'd you find all these pictures? Images.nasa.gov. Won't having 4 boosters and ships on a transport be too wide for the VAB doors? Might be able to get away with it. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good point. Let me look. If you stack like 2 boosters in line, sure. And I know what people are thinking. Well, like, what about the crawler transporter? Isn't the crawler transporter slow? Yeah, so the SPMTs are slow too. So what? Doesn't stop them. And they don't have to worry about road closures. It makes sense, dudes. I'll admit, Denny, that the VAB door thing is a little bit of that's a little bit of an issue. But consider this. SLS can fit out that. The SRBs on SLS Block 1 are 3.7 meters. All right, so that's 2 SRBs at 3.7 meters. Right? And then you have an 8.4 meter core. So we're 15 wide. Yeah, that's not enough to have two of them, but you get the idea. Have you ever seen an AN-225? I've seen it in pieces after it got set on fire. Does that help? So yeah, that's my wild theory. It's not totally foolproof, but I think that it makes sense, you know? If there's like, consider this like, here, let me like think about this for a second. All right? This is going to sound completely nuts and people are going to think it's like Charlie Day meme.jpg. All right? Just, yeah, this is what they should do. Watch. So, in the future, you take Falcon Heavy operations off of here. If you find another pad for Falcon Heavy and just actually just move the TE over to whatever pad you're reconfiguring for it, right? If you do that, so this is 39A right here. This is the part where the pictures go from potato quality to nice high-res pictures. There we go. Okay. So, see the Starship Tower right there? Check it out. All right, so look. If you kind of peep how this is all set up, you'd have to take the FSS out of there, which kind of sucks. And then you'd obviously have to take this out of there too, right? But if you had a tower here, right? Hear me out. Actually, you'd need to have a tower a little ways back, or you could have two of them. I'm thinking how this would all go together. I had thought about this. I thought about how this all is going to go together. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so check this out. You have a tower, basically, you have this. The chopsticks and everything. The chopsticks have about 120 degree range of motion here, right? You have a tower right there, and then you have two OLMs, right? The OLMs are 16 meter wide, or at least we think they are. You can plant the OLMs in the flame trench, right? Plant two of them, one here and one there. Put the tower right here, right? And then put it diamond shaped so the chopsticks, when they're straight, are in between each pad, okay? Because your OLMs, or you could just build another tower right here. You could have a tower here and a tower there, all right? And then here, let me look at it. Look at it like this. It would probably be easier to explain. You could have two towers, one here and one here, right? You have two OLMs, and the crawler transporter drives up over the OLM, right? Chopsticks pick the booster up, right? Crawler transporter drives back, sets it down on the second pad. This thing drives forward again, picks up the Starship, sets it there, and then you could go back and get another set, or you could, if you could get two on there, right? You roll it up here and have the second tower just stack on the second OLM, and you have two Starship stacks right next to each other using the same duct. Once again, it's far-fetched. I know it's far-fetched, but it could be done. Once again, I don't think that this is an accident. I really don't. I really don't. Picture this. Take this. Just duplicate it. Take this, right? Put the tower there in that. You could do it in that exact orientation if you really wanted to. Yeah, you might have a little bit of trouble getting the CT in there. But long story short, the CT could move this into position, and the chopsticks could pick it up off the transporter and put it on the OLM. That's the idea. But like, see the orientation here? Now superimpose that over 39A. You could fit two of them. Or just one, whatever. Crawler transporter drives up. Could drive up with Starship and Super Heavy in one shot. One transport for the entire stack. It's just not stacked. Pick it up. Throw it on the OLM. CT picks up Super Heavy. Or drives a little bit forward, picks up Super Heavy, puts it on the OLM. Boom. CT drives back to the VAB. And also you get rid of that damn HIF. I like, all right. Super hot take, super unpopular opinion. I hate that disrupts the crawler way. I hate it. I can't stand it. It makes my anal retentiveness just not, no. Just demolish that damn thing or move it somewhere else. It just pisses me off. Get that off the crawlerway, damn it! Such a waste of a big pad. This pad's for super heavy launch vehicles, not medium duty vehicles, man. I'm sorry. I love SpaceX. Rigby. But frick that thing, man. My only question is, what about the other Starship tower? Take that thing and just move it over there. Why don't we just take this and move it over there? Get rid of the FSS, put it in a museum or something, or scrap it, whatever, I don't care. Or take it and move it to another pad. And then take this sucker and put it right there. And then put your OLM right there. Right here. Crawler transporter can drive up. Chopsticks can turn. Pick Super Heavy and Starship up off and stack it. You could get a Starship stack done in like, let me think. You could stack a Starship in probably about 6 hours. Takes about 6 hours to get to the pad from there with the CT with load. 1 mile an hour. It would be a mile an hour with a Starship stack. It's 0.5 with SLS because SLS is a heavy rocket. I was always salty about using a pad as big as 39A for a rocket as small as Falcon. Dude, thank you. It's not just me, right? Like I love Falcon. Like you guys ever seen Silicon Valley? You know, Richard is a good guy, but Rigby, all right? Rigby. I love Falcon 9. I love Falcon Heavy. Should not be on 39A. I mean, once again, there's no way that SpaceX doesn't know this. The Flame Trench is good enough. It's comparable because it was designed for Nova. It's comparable to Starship. It absolutely is. And I don't think it's any coincidence that they stopped working on this. And also, I don't think it's any coincidence that SpaceX built another crew access tower at 40. Why would you do that? The only way that they would do this is to move operations off of 39A eventually. Right? It makes sense. All you have to do is figure out another place for Falcon Heavy. And once again, there are open pads. Who knows? I want to see a Starship launch from 39A. Not from the field next to 39A, damn it. That's not the launch pad. The launch pad's over here. Use it for what it was made for, man. Follow up to my earlier post. Why do all the work if Falcon Heavy and Falcon 9 will retire in the semi-far future? I don't know, man. Yeah, that's right. You want to move Falcon 9 crew and Falcon Heavy operations on 2 different pads, thousands. Yeah. Could they not modify 40 for Falcon Heavy? Nah, you could, but no. Anyway, that's my wild theory. Let's keep going with the space news. This is an RGV shot of 13. 13 has since been removed from the pad, but Booster 12 did roll out of the high bay again, and it is fixed. They did fix the chines, but then they moved it to the rocket garden. So, I don't know. Do with that information what you see. And also, Ship 33 did roll and is being cryo-tested. It's rolled the Massies, and they're testing the fuel tanks. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is what is this thing? How did I miss this? What is that? Booster 12-2, that's what I want to see. I'm with you, Trey. That is the new 4-point lifter. How did I miss that? This is this picture from Jack. That's why Max linked this picture. I even like this. I'm like, because I saw the shuttle. I'm like, yeah. That bracket though. That bracket looks, that shuttle. Yes! I don't know, man. I've had my head completely up my keister this entire week because of the dang dog. You didn't watch the Starbase update. I'm sorry, I couldn't afford it. Dude. Okay. This is a lifting bracket. It's a Starship lifting bracket. And it just kind of curiously also has the bumpers in the exact same spot as where the catch arms would be in the closed position, but whatever. This fellas, once you start seeing stuff like this, that means the design is getting fleshed out. Once you start seeing specialized equipment, like the booster transport stands or the Massey's test stand. It's more specialized equipment. It's not just pick it up and put it on an SPMT and move it over there, right? I can't believe I missed this, dude. Alert Chris B. He mentioned the shuttle. Yes, tell him. I just can't afford it. It makes me happy. Those VAB pictures confuse my brain, seeing such a heavy, expensive item floating that far in the air with nothing underneath it. Yeah, this picture... Fun fact. This picture is looking up at the shuttle inside of the VAB. Fun fact here. This picture was probably taken from like the 30th story of the VAB. Yeah. The ground is about 300 feet or about 100 meters that way. Yeah. Fun fact. You could see the top of the gantry cranes. These are the gantry cranes that are at 525 feet. Yeah. That's how tall the VAB is. You're looking up 20 stories from the 30th floor on the VAB. Yeah, it's another 20 stories to the top because the gantry cranes are at 500. 525 if you want to be technical. Yeah. If you turned over and looked down, it'd be a straight drop to the ground about 300 feet or 100 meters that way. Ding dong ding. The more you know. Anyway, dude, that's awesome. That bracket looks like the shuttle's bracket. Now, let me just study this real quick. There's something right there. I don't know. That's probably a locator, if I had to guess. Yeah, see? It's picking up on the pins on the sides, see? Yeah, those are looking for, see that? They're locating it robotics style, see? At least I think. And then yeah, see there's an actuator there and this thing the two tabs can actually move in. Is that going from the transfer aisle to one of the bays? That's correct. Come on, I want to see LC-49 in 8 fully stacked starships. Trey, I have another theory about that if you really want to know. I mean, you guys don't know the can of worms that you open. I've thought about this. I put way too much thought into this. Let me put it to you like that. How do you retain all these numbers in your brain? I don't know. I was probably dropped on my head as a child too much. More EJ Cope. Shut up, Elhit. Shut up. Be quiet. So, LC-49. Okay. All right. Look. LC-49 is supposed to go right here, between the entrance to Playa Linda Beach and this road right here. This is the notional LC-49, right? That's what they're thinking. Okay. Think about this for a second. Really think about this for a second. Considering what I just told you about the VAB and moving starships back and forth. Think about it, okay? Let's look at the infrastructure that's near here. Part of the thing about building launch pads is having industrial power, obviously having a data connection, and obviously having a way to move the big frigging rocket to the pad, like the crawler way, for instance. Now, with that all being said, what is something that has all three of those things? The throughput for moving big things, industrial power, right? Actually, it's just those two, but the industrial power and the throughput. Basically a way to be able to move heavy commodities to the pad, move big rockets to the pad, fuel trucks, whatever. What is the closest piece of infrastructure to where the notional LC-49 area is that can do all of those things? Closest infrastructure over here for moving boosters to and from is 5 kilometers away on Kennedy Boulevard. Kennedy Boulevard is load rated. That's a heavy road. You can move big things through there if you really want to. See how it has all these weird markings on it in weird lanes and stuff? The road is graded to be able to move heavy infrastructure. Right? Okay. There's that. That's cool. That's 5 kilometers away. What's that? What's that? That's the crawler way. Oh, that's weird. That's 4.2 kilometers away. 5,200 meters. 4,300 meters. The closest bit of infrastructure to where the notional LC-49 would be is the crawler way. The crawler way carries heavy power. It carries industrial power and data connections right there. See it? And they split. There's provisions that they put in during the Apollo program to extend the crawler way to a third pad if needed during the Apollo program. If they were going to scale up, they put the provisions in. They put a switch right there on purpose. If they were going to build LC-49, you know honestly what I would do? I'd have 3 or 4 of those towers stacked right next to each other and do the exact same thing that I was telling you guys about right there. But do it up here. Have the CT be able to drive all the way up here, and then just the chopsticks can pick up rockets, put them on the pad, pick up rockets, put them on the pad, pick up rockets, put them on the pad, pick up rockets, put them on the pad. And then use Starship to store like 20 Starship, or use the VAB to store like 20 Starships. Actually, let me think. What would be the max amount in high bay? You could store 4 of them in there, in the walls, on bookshelves, like I told you. Or you could store 2 super heavies. But the super heavies will be on the pads. So if you have 4 towers right there, Trey, right? You have 4 towers, each one of them with super heavy on it, connected in via the crawler way, just like I'm saying. Like I said, that's 16-meter flame trench. That's so random. I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence. And once again, you can tell me I'm wrong. I probably am wrong. But why? Why 16 meter? That makes no sense. Unless SpaceX is willing to scale up their architecture, which is probably what they're going to do. They're probably future-proofing it. That's the most likely solution. Like, I'm not going to sit here and admit it. But also, build another one of these. Build another one. Well, not necessarily a 39A. Just, I'm talking about something like 39A that has a flame duct, right? A flame trench. Like, basically this copy and pasted like 4 or 5 times and have one long, gigantic flame trench for all of it. The other thing that I had a dream about is having 2 of these pads right next to each other. So basically have another tower right here. Right? And like basically them right next to each other and 2 chopsticks going out like this, Richard Nixon style, right? And you have the crawlerway come in right here. Chopsticks can pick up one, stack it, pick up another and stack it. And then you could have 2. Yeah. Twin pad Starship complex. Yeah. Basically mirror it. Yeah. You could do that. Heck, you might be able to get away with it doing it with 1 tower, but getting the chopsticks to jive like that might be a little complicated. If you did flame trenches going this way, going in the same direction as the tower, right? You could make a twin duct, one single tower Starship complex that could launch and land 2 Starships. You could do launch and landing operations all at once. All systems gifted a sub to Elon Musk. Looking forward, you would want them as close as airplane jetways are together, 20 or 30 of them. Bingo. Build another one, you rich mother... Yeah. Can you imagine 4 Starships lifting off at the same time? I'll tell you what I'd do, man. I'd launch 4 Starships at the same time, man. Damn straight always wanted to do that. See, that's what I'm saying, man. I think, because you gotta remember, why go through the redesign? They put booster 12 back on the OLM ring and it works just fine. Why go through the, like, why make your mobile launcher like this? Why do that? Why do it this way? Why dig a flame trench? Why would you do any of this stuff? Why would you go through all those redesigns? There's got to be a reason, right? And the reason isn't just, oh, we're going to make this one square. Where does this OLM go? That's right. It goes in the square hole, right? There's got to be a reason for such a heavy rebaselining of the launch pad. There's got to be. I firmly believe it's for future scalability. Yeah, for future scalability. Yeah, anyway. Okay, a little bit more space news. Anyway. This is coming from Space Operations, NASA Space Operations. In preparation for the arrival of SpaceX's 31st commercial resupply service mission, 4 members aboard this space station will relocate the agency's Crew 9 Dragon spacecraft to a different docking port on the 3rd, on Sunday. Because of course it's on Sunday. Why wouldn't it be? Astronauts Nick Hague, Sonny Williams, Butch Wilmore, as well as cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov will undock the spacecraft from the forward-facing port of the station's Harmony module at 6:35 and redock to the module's space-facing port at 7:18. Live coverage begins at 6 a.m. Eastern on NASA Plus on Sunday. Ready for Halloween.
And up last, you guessed it, is the square hole.
What was I talking about? Can we go back to the part where we were talking about boosters launching and landing? Please. Derailed. I've been up since 4, man. Leave me alone. I'm trying. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Where does it go? That's right. It goes in the square hole. Anyway. Yeah, because the reason why I think of what I was going to default go back to a Starship topic that we weren't talking about. Anyway, yeah, okay, so they're just, the Dragon is going to, the Crew 9 Dragon is going to realign from the V-bar to the R-bar port. It's basically going to plop off the front of the ISS, turn up like this, and then redock to the port on the side, or on the top, I should say. What would be the Zenith port on Node 2. Pretty cool. That relocation is going to be on Sunday at 6 in the morning. So here's the part where I say I'm going to try to be here for it, but that, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, moving on. Why not 3 ports for Dragons to dock? Well, they had a 3rd port, John, but it's at the bottom of the ocean. No, I'm not kidding. It's at the bottom of the ocean. It made a great submarine. Yeah. Please go to bed. Ethereal, yeah, let me finish up here. Hey, Pie Guy, what's going on? So the ports that are up there for Dragon and Starliner to dock to are IDA 2 and 3. International Docking Adapter 2 and 3. These things can be attached to a pressurized mating adapter. The PMA is the shuttle's docking port. The PMA adapts the shuttle's APAS docking port to the CBM, Common Berthing Mechanism. So the CBM is like how the station modules are all attached together. There are only 2 PMAs up there, but we could have made another one. But there were originally 3 IDAs made. There were 2 and a spare. So IDA 1 and 2 were supposed to be up there, and then I'm not sure what they were going to do with 3. There's no way to connect it, but I'm sure we could have figured something out, right? IDA 1 was on CRS 7. CRS 7's at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, CRS 7 failed. The second stage Yeah, the second stage popped. We watched that launch live on here, and I freaked out. It was great, because I didn't really know what was happening. Nowadays, I'd be like, huh, it popped. That sucks. Whoops. Yeah, that was back in 2015. That was CRS-7 in 2015. Do you guys remember how Progress M21 blew up? And then CRS-7 happened, and then Antares, the Orb 3 mission exploded? Like, all within, like, 1 or 2 months? And everyone was like, we're doomed. We're doomed. Commercial space is doomed. Commercial space is doomed. Doomed! And, yeah. Nah, we good. Yeah, CRS-7 had IDA-1 in the trunk. Whoops. It was on Falcon 9. It was a very, very rare Falcon 9 failure back in the day. That was a bad 12-month period. We're doomed. Tell Haas to go fishing for it. Anyway, here, look at this. Where does this rocket engine go? That's right, it goes in the smart hole. Sounded better in my head. Tori Bruno posted another picture of B4 for Vulcan rocket. Yeah, that's nice. I like BE4s. Raptor's distant cousin, by the way. Yes, you heard that right. Good. Good. That shows that Blue is scaling propulsion, which is excellent. Excellent. EJ, question about Starship. Answer about Starship. What's up, man? How do you think they will manage catching with the tower? How do you think they will manage the catching with the tower with the chopsticks? Like that. Yeah, like this right here. See this? Just like that. That just like this. See this? I know you asked about Starship. I was just being a jerk. Alucard, so you gotta think about this. Let's think about it. If you want to talk about it, like how are they going to catch Starship with those chopsticks? Because it scraped the sides of the booster. You're talking about what happens over there. You don't want to scrape the tiles off, right? Honestly, a deployable pin. Have a bit of Starship that, you know, where the pins are like retracted and they push out or they slide out, and have the pins deploy and then have it just catch the same way. Probably be a good idea. The other thing, and this is why a lot of people think that Starship is going to have landing legs, that might be the way to do it, dude. It might give Starship landing gear. Give it landing gear like an airplane so it can just... Something actually kind of like what New Glenn has. New Glenn's gear, from what I can tell, is built more like shuttle landing gear than anything. They're landing legs. Good question, honestly. There are a few ways that they could approach it. The other way, which I think is probably a good idea, you got to remember these are composite tiles. They're not silica. They can be banged around a little more. Alucard. So you might be able to handle those kind of bumpers that they put. Like if you look over there top right, see how the booster kind of wobbles around? Those bumpers probably, if it was me. So like I said, you could use deployable pins, right? But still, you're not getting around scraping the tile problem. But see, Alucard, you got to think about this. You're making a tile anyway. You are paying the money to engineer these new unifiber, or these tough rock tiles is what they're called. Toughened, unifibrous, reinforced, composite. Right? You are engineering new tiles. If you're engineering a new tile, why not just engineer a new tile that can take the hit? Right? Right? Why wouldn't you do that? You're not going to design the tile and be like, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, crap. It scraped the tiles off the side. Well, that sucks. Well, I got to go redesign it. That's not how SpaceX does things. Right? Heck, they might not even need tiles in that area. Do you see how well Starship tanks heat? It tanks heat very well during re-entry. They might not even need tiles there, dude. Could get to the point where they don't need them there. Maybe that's what they'll do. I'll let you go for some metallic TPS. Best part is no part, baby. You already have a metallic TPS on your leeward side, right? Right? The nose fins are pretty long, so they might be able to catch it without the booster contact because there's way more tolerance for error. Who knows? Yeah. Flip out pins, though, are probably the most likely way. But yeah, you're still going to get some contact with the TPS. But once again, if it was me, I mean, SpaceX had no problem engineering satellites that bump into each other when they deploy to simplify the deployment mechanism. Starlink satellites, when they go to let them go, they bumping into each other. Any other satellite bumps into another satellite, that's death. Right? So why not just make a stronger tile? Just make a tile that can withstand it. Maybe that's why they chose to go with mechanical adhesion in the first place. Tiles are clipped on, they're not glued on. I mean, they're glued on in some places, but not that spot, right? I mean, Alucard, like, think about it like this, dude. If sacrificing maybe, 20, 30 tiles in the bumper area is enough to get your Starship back, well, replacing 30 tiles is no big deal. No big deal. I mean, I know SpaceX. They're going to want to make it so you don't have to do that, right? If it was me, if I was doing this, I would engineer a special type of tile for that area that can take the hit. Right? Because why not? Or I would figure out a design where you just don't need tiles there. Just have it push up against the steel. Why not? I was thinking more something out of Star Raker. Well, sure, Aqualex, but you already have the dude. You already have that. You have the metallic TPS. Starship's made out of stainless, man. That's a great thermal protection system, right? Why put a metal TPS on top of a metal ship, right? Like, I understand the reasons, don't get me wrong, but you got to, and, you know, I want Venture Star or Star Raker. That would be great, right? But wait a minute. Shut up. Hold on for a second. No, not shut up. Wasn't SpaceX testing a new type of tile on Flight 5? Didn't they have a special type of, they were testing, they weren't all tough rock tiles. They had something else. No, Wiz, you don't need to shut up. You're good. They were testing aluminum tiles. They were testing metal tiles. Aqualex. That's not a coincidence, dude. That's your solution. You're right. Yeah, good call. They had some tiles missing on purpose. Can you believe that, Pi? Can you believe that? Oh yeah, we took some tiles off on purpose. What? They did have an aluminum plate covered tiles. There you go. They had a few spots where the tile was removed, and they had aluminum tiles for temperature measurement, according to public information. Yes, temperature measurement. Like I said, man, there's only... Look. Okay. Forgive me for presuming, guys. Alucard, there's your answer. Keep in mind, SpaceX, their design is always in flux because of rapid iteration. It always changes. You know, if you told 2017 EJ that Starship would be made out of stainless, I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Why make something out of stainless? That's stupid. No, SpaceX said they're going to make it out of carbon fiber. Like, you never know. SpaceX could just be trying something. It's very much throw it at the wall and see what sticks. Now, I still can't believe that they just took tiles off of it and they're like, yeah, we're just testing. It's fine. We're just testing. No tile there. Let's see what happens. Like, that's... Starship's ability to be able to tank heat is impressive. It's impressive, dude. It's pretty cool. Right? SpaceX said the reason is if the aluminum doesn't melt, then the steel doesn't lose strength, and then you can remove those tiles. That's what I mean. Yeah, see? Look, best part is no part. Yeah, because the aluminum will ablate. It will absolutely burn off. But if it doesn't, then you're good. Aluminum is like the butter of metals. It'll melt real fast with a lot of heat. Now I'm butter. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, Pie Guy, look, man, I don't mean to wax poetic here, but look, Flight 4 and Flight 5 are turning points, dude. Starship had plasma burn through, and it made it. There's some type of, if that's not the universe telling you something, I don't know what is. Plasma burn through destroys spacecraft. That's how we lost Columbia. I think, like I said, the universe is telling you something. You just gotta listen. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. No, dude, it burned through the wing. It didn't care. It did not care. I think there's something very, like I said, the universe is trying to tell you something there. So basically, SpaceX is seeing where they can eliminate tiles. If I had to guess, guys, the reason why they're so incessant on eliminating tiles is for that exact reason. For the reason you're describing, Alucard. That's my guess. Also, boots with the fur. Yeah, I'm not interested in that, Baron. Good God, please sleep. I'm working on it, man. We still got a little bit more to go. So this is coming from Zach, who's recapturing some Lab Padre stuff. This is more Starship stuff. Assembly of the mechanical level for OLM-2 has begun. The first corner section has been lifted onto the completed base structure, looking at humans for scale. Dude, see? Yeah, they did install it. It is quote unquote upside down, but it's not. Man, this OLM is going to be huge, dude. It's going to be this, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. That thing's going to be the size of a mobile launcher platform. Look at how tall it is. The MLPs for the shuttle and the mobile launchers for like SLS, Saturn V, they're like 3 stories tall. I know I've stood in one. Look at the dude there. The bottom of the ML is like down here. And then obviously they're not going to keep the top open. There's going to be the top deck, which is the water suppressor. They integrated the deluge and the FireX system right into the design here. Like I said, man, that's a mobile launcher. That's a mobile launcher platform. You can't change my mind. It's an MLP. Just like the shuttle program. Same stuff. Yeah, Ryzen, she thick. Probably have to contend with extra boil off if they're not careful. That being said, stainless tiles, maybe, I don't know. I think Aqualex, knowing SpaceX, they're going to figure out that they don't need tiles where the pins are and then just make a deployable pin. Honestly, the pin's like super heavy. Dude, like, okay, so think about it like this. If you don't need tiles there, you could just put the pin there. Same pins that you have on Super Heavy. Why not? If you don't need tiles there, it's out of the plasma flow. Your bow shock is far enough away from that point of Starship where you don't need it, especially with Starship's design here. Here, hold up. Look, this is NACA imaging here. Check it out. I always try to show people this to try and understand Starship. Like, look. Okay, this is Schlieren imaging of different types of shapes going at supersonic, and you could figure out, you could extrapolate hypersonics to an extent from here. Okay, so look. A point, so like a spear shape, right? See this? Your boundary is very close to your vehicle with a point. No good. The plasma is closer to your vehicle like this. If you go with the nose cone concept like this, the flat bottom with a conic top, kind of capsule shaped almost, right? Check it out. Your shock is a little bit thicker, but see, there's a gap. So that gives you the room for an ablator heat shield, right? You put an ablator right here to fight off the shock, the heat that's generated from the shock, then you're good to go, right? That doesn't mean that you're not going to get small shocks off the very edge right here. That's going to happen. But your big shock is like, look, see with the circular design, like a heat shield, see this? This is where the fire is. That's where the hot stuff is, where the dark line is, okay? That's no good. The further you can, if you develop a spacecraft, the further you can, if you ever develop a spacecraft, first of all, if you're developing a spacecraft, probably not learning anything here, but whatever. You know, the further you can keep this shock, because that's basically the plasma knife that Sir Peter Beck talks about, right? The further you can keep that away from your spacecraft, the better. Now, with that all being said, look at Starship, right? Starship's going to re-enter like this, right? Or is it? It's going to re-enter like this. That's how we've seen it re-enter. It re-enters basically perpendicular to your windward flow, right? So that means if you were looking at, if it was imaged from this profile, right, it would look like that. You'd see it coming at it this way. See? Or, well, it'd be that way, right? This is how Starship would re-enter. Now, with that being said, look at that shape. Blunt body concept from 1953. Look at that shape. Man, oh, that looks familiar. That looks real familiar. See what I'm talking about? Now, okay, what does that mean? So remember, look, you have small shocks coming off here, but look at how far the plasma is away from the vehicle. Smart. Very smart. And look, you're not getting a lot. There is some heat, and there's the reason why SpaceX is moving the why Ship 33 has the fins kind of clocked up here instead of like directly perpendicular, like directly across from each other, 180 degrees clocked. The reason why they shifted the fins up is because, look, see these little things right here? See those little guys? Those little guys were burning through. See these little black lines? That's plasma. That's plasma that occurs here. A little bit. It's not as big as the initial shock, right? But that's still a lot of heating happens in this armpit right there. That's why they got burned through. If you move them over there, move them up, they're out of this shock, so to speak, right? Now, think about this for a second. If the shocks are happening, right? If they figure out they don't need tiles here and here, just put the pin there. You look at how far it is away from the shock because of the spherical shape. See what I'm talking about? Like I said, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Why not just add multiple bevels? Because that's complicating your design, JN. You're complicating your design. Remember, SpaceX likes to take ideas. Okay, so here's the thing. When I theorize a lot, you've heard a lot of EJ's wild theories with SpaceX, this stream, right? You've heard a lot of weird stuff. You have to put yourself in the mentality that SpaceX has. What is the simplest way of doing this? The simplest. It's not an easy thing to do. But I've had predictions in the past that have been right because I'm thinking like this. You got to think about what SpaceX trying to do. What are you trying to do? And this is stakeholder expectations for systems engineering 101. What are you trying to do? This is any type of engineering. Systems engineering for anything. Could be for software engineering, could be for aerospace, could be for mechanical, could be for civil. This is all thing. What are you trying to do? That's the fundamental question. See, this is where people get confused. They think there's some like there's some like end all be all rule set for engineering that you have to abide by this rule. Like, oh, if the shuttle uses the shuttle used tiles and they didn't work, so Starship's tiles aren't going to work. No, absolutely not. Completely different, engineered with completely different stakeholder expectations, right? In fact, I would say that the reason why Starship's tiles are working is because the shuttles didn't. But anyway, everything you say is weird. Need I remind you of ordering Windows today, right? So when you think about Starship and you think about how they're going to engineer stuff, you got to think, what are their expectations? What are they trying to do? Elon has always said it has to be lean. You have to take your idea and boil it down in a freaking crucible. Like, you know, oh, I think that SpaceX is going to use the VAB. All right. Let's think about all the reasons why they wouldn't do that, right? And then go from there. If you can't find good enough reasons, then maybe, like I said, critical thinking 101. With SpaceX, right? RE, the tiles and the pins, I think, you know, Buzz, you're not going to add shapes to the design. You're not going to do that. Adding shapes is making it more complicated. How do you make it simpler but do the same thing? Something with a lot of horsepower just drove by my house. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was loud. By that time, you don't need the tiles. There's no rule set, so that's why I'm saying, why not add multiple bevels with superb aerothermodynamics to ensure at least the least amount of plasma interaction? Well, so my question is, clocking the fins higher fixes that problem. It fixes that problem already. It did not. It got filtered. Holy crap, dude. That was loud. Dude, like, it sounded like a top fuel dragster drove by. Right? So, I mean, you could, right? But, Buzz, I guess throwing monkey wrenches in your idea. Not saying you're wrong. Not saying they wouldn't. Like, this is what I think about when people ask me questions like, do you think SpaceX is going to do this? I don't think they would add another bevel in there to improve the aerodynamics when you could just move the fins higher. Move the fins higher and use what you already have as your bevel, right? Which is what Ship 33 has. That's a much simpler way to solve that exact same problem, and you don't need to add anything. You're just moving the fins. See what I'm saying? This is the kind of stuff you got to throw monkey wrenches in your ideas. Now, Buzz, here's the thing. I'm not saying you're wrong either. I'm not saying you're wrong. That will certainly fix the problem. But understand that SpaceX needs to mass produce this. Every part that they add is another assembly line for Starship. Right? That's another production line that they need to add to this big production flow that they have of trying to mass produce these things. Remember, got once again, eyes on the prize. 1,000 ships to Mars in 2020, or not 2026. Uncrewed ships to Mars in 2026. Crew in 2028. See what I'm talking about? Like, got to think about that. Keep that in the back. You got to keep manufacturing simple, and in that way, you want to make less, not more, right? So, like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's a good idea. That would fix it. But I don't think that's how SpaceX goes about engineering things, dude. Once again, I'm not trying to make this like EJ just craps on chat's ideas all day, you know? But I'm trying to show you, like, that's how they think, dude. Throw monkey wrenches in your ideas. Be like, okay, I think they should do this. No, what's the reason why they wouldn't? And if you can't figure out a reason why they wouldn't do that, right? Then, like, okay, that's how they would do that, right? That's what I do with the VAB idea. I think the VAB is a great idea. It's a high bay. You already have it. It's already there. SpaceX has a knack in the past of reusing hardware, like 39A, for instance, or Pad 40. They use what's pre-existing. Why build a new high bay? Why build another high bay at the Cape when you have the VAB? The VAB is there. Use it, right? That's my whole impetus for that. Now, I'll admit them, you know, SpaceX buying Crawler Transporter 1 and using that as a little bit of copium. But anyway, Elon and his boys need to mine asteroids so they can actually build the rockets and robots without destroying Earth even further. Yeah. See, unfortunately, there's that whole thermodynamics thing, homie. We want to get something big enough to get out there to mine. We're going to have to destroy the planet a little bit more. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I kind of agree with what Jeff says, making, preserving the ecosystems here by building the infrastructure that you need in space to live up there. I think that's a really, really astute and smart way of looking at this, especially if you want to preserve this planet, because this planet's pretty damn unique in our solar system. There's that whole plate tectonics thing. Yeah, no other planet has that around here. I understand that, but to go to Mars? Here's the thing, JN, if you can send this freaking thing to the Martian surface, you can mine asteroids. If you have the infrastructure of moving this 100-ton behemoth to the surface of Mars, mining asteroids shouldn't be an issue. Once again, it's just picking your goal, right? Picking your goal. If you're building a rocket that's big enough to send this to Mars, you could go to the moon. No problem. Easy peasy. Yeah, you could send this to the moon. Yeah, fine, whatever. SpaceX is looking at in-flight refueling, right? They want to be able to get refueling, which is their next big step, minus, like there's the booster catch. And I still can't believe that freaking happened, but they want to do in-flight refueling. If you could do in-flight refueling with rockets, you can go wherever the hell you want. A fully fueled Starship sitting on low Earth orbit with payload could move 100 tons, actually on a pretty punctual schedule, pretty much anywhere in the solar system. No problem. I mean, you guys got to think. The staging velocity for Super Heavy is superbly low. That means a Starship in the future carrying 100 tons of payload. What would you guys think? What do you think its C3 is? Characteristic energy. It's got to have at least 5-6 kilometers a second delta V. Easily. It has to. Right? What I'm trying to say is that Super Heavy stage is really, really low. It's a very, for a rocket that big, it has a staging velocity lower than Falcon 9, believe it or not. Starship basically brute forces itself up into space because it's so freaking big and it has a ton of power behind it, right? If you were able to refuel that up in space, you could go anywhere. Anywhere you want, dude. You want to go to asteroids? Sure, absolutely. And not only could you go there, you could go, like I said, you could do it on a punctual schedule. This thing is designed to be able to get to Mars in a couple of months. That's ridiculous. This is sci-fi 15 years ago. This is ridiculous. This is something that's a pipe dream that you read about in near future space tech, right? But it exists. Well, not as I just described, but it's almost there, right? Mars is so damn far and grandiose that doesn't really benefit this generation at all. I think you underestimate SpaceX's resolve. Dude, if they're not on Mars by the end of this decade, they're definitely getting there in the 2030s. I'm sorry, man. The timeline shifted when this happened right here. See that? You don't know how big of a deal that is. Well, a lot of you do. If you're watching the stream, you probably do.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Crustacean, 37 months. Thanks, buddy. They need to figure out software issues with Raptor 3 pretty quick to keep moving forward. I think they will. I'd like to see NASA send a screw you big probe to Titan. Yeah, dude, the progress from here, Buzz, is going to come fast. It's going to come at you hot and heavy. I'm serious, but heavy, because this thing is frigging huge. You don't know how big of a deal that is. That dude, turning point. This is like Wright Brothers level of breakthrough. I know it doesn't seem like it, right? Because, we always think of these big grandiose things from history, right? Dude, SpaceX is like single-handedly making Mars viable this generation. And once again, if this thing can get to Mars, you can go anywhere in the solar system with people. Anywhere. You have this thing fully fueled in low Earth orbit can get you to Pluto if you really wanted it to. You could go to the belts. You could go to the moons of Jupiter. You go to the Jovian moons. You go to the Saturn moons. Whatever. You go wherever. With people. This thing, yeah, in the transfer window, if SpaceX does what they say they're going to do, in the transfer window, this thing could get you to Mars in about 2-3 months, probably quicker. 2 to 3 months, man. Look, that's actually super slow, but it's a start. Let's go to the moon first. Dude, once again, if you're building this thing big enough to be able to send this to the surface of Mars, you can go to the moon. You can go to the moon and come back. It's already there. It's like you built a truck, right? You built a truck to move cargo from point A to point B, but point C is on the way. But just stop there and keep going. Or just go to point C and come back to A, refuel, and then go to B, right? It's like you have your list of errands. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to go to the dry cleaners. You got to go to the laundromat, right? Like, now don't get me wrong. With how spaceflight works, you don't start and then go A, B, C. You start, you go to A, come back, go to B, come back, go to C, come back, because you have to refuel in low Earth orbit. Your gas station is at your house, right? Or if you're driving an EV, your charging port is at your house, right? Dude, and see, look, this gets even crazier. It gets even crazier if SpaceX mitigates boil off. If you mitigate boil off, send tankers to Mars. Refuel at Mars. And then jump from Mars to Ceres or the belt. Just saying. Maybe mine Mars. Set up, make Mars a big gas station so you could go further into the belt. Just like, dude, we are almost, minus the Epstein drive, we're almost at the expanse with this thing. It is nuts. Now, guys, see, you want to know where my mind goes? My mind goes cycler orbit refueling starships. Cycler orbit refueling starships. If you know, you know. You don't know how potent this thing actually could be. This thing could be nuts. We're going to turn Mars into a big Wawa. I prefer Buc-ee's, actually, but Wawa is good too. They got good pizza. You make it sound like Star Trek. Dude, we are on the verge of this. Like, dude, we're close. Within a generation. That's not a long period of time for spaceflight, dude. We're close. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Wake up and smell the ozone, man. We're almost there. Dude, how about a depot starship in a cycler orbit? Depot starship and cyclers. Go to Mars whenever you want. Just saying. Build Mechazillas on Mars and catch boosters there. Zeb, here's the thing, dude. You don't need Mechazilla on Mars. You don't need that. Starships can SSTO from the surface of Mars. Easily. Easily. There's no need for catching devices there. Dude, this thing can almost SSTO from Earth. This thing almost has enough delta V to make it out of Earth's grav well by itself. Mars has 1/3 of the gravity. This thing can SSTO on Mars. And here's the crazy part, dude. No thermal protection needed. If you're going from low Mars orbit down to the surface and back, you don't need TPS. You don't need tiles. There's not enough atmosphere in the way. The only reason that you need tiles is if you're coming from Earth on what's called a transmartian injection. If you're coming from Earth and you're hitting the atmosphere and you aerobrake the atmosphere, then you're going to generate enough heat to need tiles. But if you're going up to low Martian orbit and then back down, no tiles needed. No, don't need that. Please don't smell the ozone. That's bad for you. What would a hydrolox ship look like? I don't know. Will the time of relativity be longer? There's time dilation. Of course. If you're looking for the astronauts traveling to Mars, is it that not far enough? It depends on how close you are to gravity, believe it or not, because gravity bends space and time. Believe it or not, astronauts up at the ISS age less. Not by much. Just a little bit less. Teeny bit. Belter? No, Belter's gross. Like, dude, once again, my mind's going in overdrive with this thing. And then can you imagine starships in the future with a payload bay right here and a robotic arm? Debris, dude, you could build space stations. You could build space stations. Just send in like construction vehicles. You could build space stations. Debris mitigation. You could go, dude, have the starship just a starship garbage truck. And then here's what you do. You don't bring the satellites back down. You make you basically make a recycling depot, a recycling station on orbit. Or bring them back down, whatever, doesn't matter. Make a recycling depot on orbit. Smelt the stuff down. Build up raw materials in low Earth orbit. And then use that to make things, like bigger ships. Can starships just be the space station? Sure. How are the Chinese making it to their space station in 6 hours? Their spacecraft is a ripoff of Soyuz, which is very well understood. Basically, the Russians flew it a lot. There's a lot of flight data behind it. And Shenzhou is basically a Chinese-made Soyuz with some modifications here and there. But flight data is king, Zeb. Flight data is king. That's why SpaceX did stuff like this. You know, if a vehicle is matured and understood, and you know what it's going to do, you can afford a shorter transit time. Guys, it's there. We're on the precipice of it. We're on the verge of this being nuts. You could do insane stuff with this. Okay, appreciate it, but it does look super similar. Yeah, because it's a ripoff. In 1993, some Soviet space program aerospace engineers somehow got the production rights to Soviet government technology. It was somehow privatized. I'm sure nothing sketchy happened there, and sold the designs to the Chinese for their space station modules and spacecraft. It's the DOS modules, the functional cargo blocks, and Soyuz. Yeah, somebody just got a hold of the patents for Soyuz, in 93, and then sold the patents to the Chinese. Very interesting how you got patents on a piece of government technology. The Soviet Union is patentless. That's weird. Not that they care about that. Yeah. Weird, right? Anyway. All right, dudes. That was a good space news. There's a test scatter. Last bit of stuff here. This is coming from McGregor Live. They're building a new Raptor test stand. There's the flame diverter being moved. This is on McGregor Live, coming from NSF. Yeah, check that out. That's a new flame bucket. See it? There's a Cape flyover. We could end with that if you want. Oh, Max did this. I kind of don't want to show like the entire flyover, dude. I don't want to show the whole video because I want people to go and look at it on NSF. So you'll get a little bit of a teaser here, and then we'll go from there. Hang on, it's playing an ad that I was supposed to not get. Unless you guys want to learn about QuickBooks. I hate ads. I hate them so much. Seriously, I have trouble keeping focused on one thing. I don't need YouTube changing the damn subject every 15 to 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. Makes my brain hurt, man.
Watching a ton per usual, but there's also been some strange hardware movement that could potentially be related to Starship. Blue Origin continues to prepare for New Glen's debut flight in the coming months, and we'll also be looking at the aftermath of Hurricane Milton.
Oh, that's broken.
Across both the KSC and the Cape. Howdy, everybody. My name is Max Evans with NSF, and all of that is coming up and more on this month's Space Coast Flyover.
We are ready for takeoff and departure.
Nice Robinson. All right, let's get through those.
This new tent is going up right in the footprints of where SpaceX had built the segments for Space Launch Complex 40's new crew access tower. Once complete, the tent will extend south near to where they had built the foundations for what was going to be their Florida mega bay. RIP.
RIP indeed. Hold on. Also, just casual Falcon 9 fairings just hanging out. Just flight-proven fairings, just, it's fine. Just leave them outside, whatever, it's good. Yeah, Dan, I wanted to say this real quick. Thank you for the kind words, man. I'm going to get some sleep tonight, but yeah.
Tent. It's actually huge. With some help from Google Maps, we can estimate that this tent is about 40 meters wide and 140 meters long.
Backroom chatter says it's Falcon 9 storage. You could fit 4 Falcon 9s in there. Falcon 9 is about 50 meters, give or take. The first stage. Yeah, you can fit a couple of first stages in there. Actually, yeah, dude, Max ain't kidding. Look at the telehandlers, man. That thing is huge. It's a big tent.
Or 130 by 460 feet. To put that into context, that should easily fit an entire Starship stack horizontally. So
didn't we hear somewhere about a Starship breakover device?
So that then poses the question, why? What would SpaceX need such a huge tent for here in Florida? I mean, after all, they already have Hangar X for refurbishment and processing of Falcon boosters and fairings, on top of Hangar X2, which is used for Starlink integration on Falcon fairings, Dragon processing, and Starship heat shield manufacturing. Usually when it comes to SpaceX and knocking up a building, they're up to something big. Like Starship. We can all look back on the famous production tents at Starbase. To put this new tent in perspective, it would be about the same width as those old tents, but 30 to 40% longer. It is also about the same width, but 20 meters longer than the big receiving and processing tent that SpaceX has at Sanchez. TLDR, they mean business. Will it be for Starship? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. But what we do know, however, is that Elon wants Starship to start flying from Florida next year. And if that's the case, there's a lot to catch up on in terms of launch and support infrastructure. 2025 is coming up real fast, y'all. A tent like this could be used for a variety of purposes, from building and storing Starship and booster barrel sections, new orbital launch mount components for construction. The list goes on and on. But on the
you might, yeah, the orbital launch mount, about that.
other hand, a bit of progress that we would need to see soon is the expansion of Roberts Road to the north. SpaceX already started paperwork for this expansion back in 2022, and over the last year and a half or so, it's received a number of approvals. Some paperwork that was recently released outlined how the first phase of this expansion should look. This map shows how this area will be paved, graded, and drained. I mean, it's literally called paving, grading, and drainage. As you can see, SpaceX plans for this first phase of the North expansion to feature a paved area of 42.77 acres of land. That's a lot of land for just the first phase of expansion. To put it in perspective, SpaceX's Star Factory at Starbase has an area of about 23 acres.
See what I mean? Buzz, you seeing this? You seeing this, dude? Guys, that next couple of years are going to get rowdy. The next couple of years are going to get rowdy. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. The last time I said the next couple of years are going to get rowdy, Falcon 9 started launching every 2 days. Okay? It's going to get rowdy again.
Which means
Here, let's skip around. I want you guys to go see NSF. What do we got over here?
Stage test stand is next to and outside the hangar.
First stage
test
test
no
stand.
longer being worked with in the hangar, which could indicate that second stage testing is done for now, and its focus on the booster going forward. Okay, let's move to Exploration Park.
Yeah, dude, 47 acre job site, dude. And that's Blue is building up like crazy, dude. Especially since they work construction, really understand that level of jobs. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, SpaceX is scaling. They're scaling hard, dude. And I mean, look, Blue's just building up buildings left and right. They're growing like friggin' weeds.
Here we actually saw some damage from Hurricane Milton, which recently passed the Cape and caused levels of destruction at all kinds of different facilities.
Yeah.
Aw, that poor structure.
Which one?
The one right there that got blown over in the hurricane.
Yeah, that
All
sucks.
that crumpled steel on the ground. That was the structure.
Oh.
You can see it at the
Oh.
construction of the storage building, which fell over during Hurricane Milton. That's
You live in Florida, maybe you should try to get in on these building the roadways. Future possible pets, you run a motor grader. All right, heck yeah, Buzz. So yeah, dude, so actually, dude, when we do watch these flyovers, what I like to tell people is like, okay, so Max was looking at that drainage plan a second ago. Now, well, he said that the asphalt area is 42.77 acres. Look at the elevation. Plus 6.5 feet NGVD. You got to build up. You got to build up above the water table, especially if you're building something like that. And that requires a ton of grading. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You have to build a retention pond. If you don't build a retention pond, it's going to sink. Right? I'm surprised they didn't mention that. See all this empty space over here? And that shot that's right before this? Look, this is the wetlands. So if you're building and you displace the wetlands, you got to give that water places to go. That's why you build up on a mound. Yeah, exactly. See, they're only plus 6.5 feet. If you're 6.5 feet above the water, above the wetlands, above your water table, I don't think a big building is going to go there, or at least a building that's not going to be super freaking heavy, right?
The first,
right, dude, you know. 25-foot radius is on the entrance right there. See that? I usually build 100 plus inches above sea level, right? You have to, exactly. See the buffers? They got to drain it. If you don't drain this, it's not going to work. Now, I'm really wondering what they're going to do over here, but that's another story. Now, once again, check it out. Some of these roads, those roads have a 25-foot radius. These roads down here have a 35-foot radius. 35-foot radius indicates something big is going to need to move around in here. 35-foot radius is large. That's something heavy. I would actually really like to see the subgrades here. What kind of subgrade does this asphalt area have? We'd have to go look. Does it show? Does it show? Nope. They could be putting piles under the asphalt. If you give me the blueprints, I could definitely show you. Talking massive anchoring into the Earth's core at that sea level. Yep, exactly. Exactly. If you want to build something big, you got to go down, like what they did with the VAB. Tile cap's 80 feet plus. Yeah, if you're building something big, that's kind of the other reason why I think Starship is going to use the VAB, because it's there. Because it's tough building a 500-foot tall building in the wetlands. That's really, really difficult to do. Anyway, the building fell over.
most important thing is that everyone seems to be okay. The good news though, next to that, Lunar Plant 1, where Blue Origin will be producing its lunar lander.
Yeah, some serious concrete. Yeah, right? Not quick. Yeah, no, it's not. They ain't using the concrete you get at the hardware store, man. You ain't kidding. Probably with the heat treatment over a month.
Seems to be relatively
Gotta get the
fine.
sucker to cure, my brother.
With smaller damage, it is always hard to tell.
Look at these. Just look at these buildings that Blue is building. It's just freaking huge.
And was actually seeing active work as we flew by. Besides
Look at that.
that, it seems in general most of
Build stuff like this, right on, man. Dude, this is the guy. Dude, like, I like talking about the rockets and stuff, but I also like talking about this stuff too. That stuff's really cool to me. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like building a building like that is not some simple freaking thing to do. It's not. I don't give a frick what anybody says. That's hard. This is hard to make something like that. Prediction as to whether New Glenn is launching weekly. It will in the future, original, for sure.
For example, the 2CAT, the second stage cleaning and testing facility,
Yeah, that thing got wrecked.
Still empty after the recent rut and damage to the building, and it seems Blue did not really
Well, that little guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
advance the repair to prepare a return on testing anytime soon. One
Here,
interesting note that popped up
Wong,
while
watch
we were
this
making
video. I'll link it up.
is that Blue are going to be expanding the composite section of
here,
their
I'll link up the video,
factory
guys.
building.
Please go
We
give
don't
NSF the
have
clicks.
too much information just
These
yet,
are awesome
but
videos that are
this is
full of
likely
juicy
related
information.
to
Long story
variant
short, dude,
production,
Blue
which
is
shows
moving.
Blue's ambition to have a high flight rate for New Glenn.
See?
What we also saw is some progress in the parking garage. That building is almost finished and seems to be close to operational. We love parking garages tracking here at NSF, so let's hope this also gets a sick decal just as the one in Boca.
That new clearing is definitely more defined over here.
Which one? Oh, that one?
South side of
Yep.
Blue.
The ground for the spin form facility is also now seeing preparation for the
There's your
foundation.
grading right
You
there.
can see it here where the ground is brown, exactly where the footprint of that factory is planned. And further ground preparation is on the way at the southern expansion, where Blue will continue to expand.
This is, so looking at Adrian's, the footage here from, actually, this is from Max, D, and I think Julia, I think is who took this on the helicopter flight. So you guys see this? Check this out. You want to learn a little bit about grading. And once again, I said it was difficult to make something like this. See all this white stuff? No good. Can't build on that. Can't build on this. See the dirt? See the darker dirt up there on the left? Got to build on that. Florida is wet, obviously. See the water? It's wet. But if you're building on Florida soil, there's limestone. Limestone on the surface. A lot of limestone chunks. Building on limestone chunks is like building on a sponge. So here's what they're doing. They scraped all the topsoil off, right? They scraped all the foliage off, and you got to scrape the topsoil off. You got to get down to the sand. If you don't get down to the sand and then put pilings in, it's going to sink. You see, once again, you see how this has had all the topsoil, or not topsoil, this has had the foliage removed, but not the topsoil. You don't want this. This is bad. Building on that is death. Right? You gotta get all this limestone, and you gotta get down to the chunkier sand down there. You gotta get down to dirt. See over here? So they got a lot of grading to go on this. Yeah, limestone's no good. You can't build on that. Limestone is like it absorbs water really, really well. Very porous, absorbs water. No good. Can't build on that. Said the same thing at the same time. Yeah, my brother, dude. Buzz, I know a lot of people down here, and B, one of my cousins is a geologist, and I actually asked about it. I showed the blueprints. I definitely showed my cousin the blueprints to this stuff, and had her look at the soil, and yeah, that's how I learned about all this. Use limestone for the base of the road, depending on the depth of the traffic. Yep. You'd use it for a subgrade, right?
Where Blue will continue to expand its already sprawling facilities.
It's crazy, dude.
And of course, we are not complaining about that.
Geologist must be good with maps. What's up, Midge? Am I building the Pillar of Autumn? I am building the Pillar of Autumn. In Satisfactory.
Especially with New Glenn's first launch moving
closer. Oh, Midge, you'd love this. I gotta show you. I'll show you after this. Hold on.
Last flyover, Blue Origin has moved Jacqueline, the drone ship it'll use to land the New Glenn first stage, out of Port Canaveral and
I believe it, Minnie.
Jacksonville. This is weird because based on a recent communications permit with the Federal Communications Commission, the company had planned to perform more testing with this vessel and New Glenn hardware out at sea.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna zip. Here we go. I want to get to the 39A stuff. Ryan's cool. I like Ryan. That's a mohawk, by the way. If you're wondering, like, what's with his head, dude? He's got a mohawk. It's just down. It's pretty freaking metal.
Here in Florida in the not too distant future. Over the past few months, it appears the company has also been carrying out some minor work on the launch tower at Launch Complex 39A, particularly around the base. We already mentioned in our last Space Coast flyover, but SpaceX has been fortifying the trenches for the commodities that will supply the tower. Following Hurricane Milton, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, conducted an aerial survey to assess the damage the hurricane inflicted upon the spaceport. These images were recently published, providing a much clearer view of the work on those commodity trenches.
He's talking about these things over here. Commodity trenches are a nice way of saying fuel lines, fuel and oxidizer lines that go to the pad. But it's not just fuel and oxidizer. It could be, it's pneumatic systems as well. Nitrogen, helium if needed. Probably not for Starship, but English dude wearing a Merlin shirt. Yeah, that's Ryan. Ryan's the man. I like Ryan a lot. He loves Ares 1, so we're bros.
Our flyover footage is the addition of new stairs at the rear of the tower's base, along with extra handrails. Why they've only now installed these rather than earlier remains a mystery. It does make one wonder though, if they had the time to install these additions, then why not also begin constructing the other planned installations like the new flame trench or the tank farm that was left unfinished in 2022. Another change we've noticed is that SpaceX appears to have introduced the same white flashing lights on this tower as those we've grown accustomed to seeing on the original Starbase launch tower. These strobe lights are an aviation obstruction light used to alert aviators to the presence of a structure tall enough to pose a potential hazard to navigation. While we haven't observed them in action every single night, it appears that SpaceX is combining them with blinking red lights. They're certainly not going to be easy on the eyes, although that's kind of the point. In the meantime, SpaceX continues to launch Falcon rockets left, right and center. During our
MDK, did Bezos buy Starliner? No. There's kind of whispers that Boeing wants to sell it, but I think it's just posturing for them to get better contracts with NASA. Pretty damn sure. Anyway, you guys want to watch more of the flyover? Go over there. I'll post a video again. Once again, I work for NSF. I commentate there on launches and am a host weekly on a show called The Flame Trench. That's on Fridays. Oh, and next Friday is Hawaiian t-shirt day, so just go ahead and wear a Hawaiian t-shirt. But yeah, those videos are super useful. Always cool. Get good information like that, like those plans. It's good stuff. I don't want to show the whole video here because I want you guys to go over there and watch it there. What other streamer is going to say that? You know, you want to see the pillar? Okay, that's going to do it for Space News. Real quick, I want to show you guys. I'll show you guys that. We'll cap off Space News. There's not much else. I'll just load up Satisfactory real quick, even though we're not in the right category. But I'll be working on this build tomorrow. No, guys, no after hours. I gotta go take care of the dog. He's been down in the house for a couple hours by himself. Now, it's not a big deal, but I don't want to just leave him there. You know what I mean? Is that best of the best? I try, dude. I try. Midge, check this out. Flame Trench should have a doctor look at that. Well, it's only when you have Taco Bell. Midge, you'll like this. I'm doing this just for you. Okay? I'm doing this just for you because I like you. Okay? Give him a treat for you? All right. Midge, you know what that is? It's a cradle. It is a cradle. Yeah, I knew you'd know what that is. Good job. Thanks, MDK. You get more of that tomorrow. More of that tomorrow. I'm going to go get some sleep, guys. Midge, I'm doing a 1-to-1 of the Pillar of Autumn. 1-to-1 using the octagonal grid, the octagonal spars that are in the game and in the lore to engineer out the whole thing. I got the decks. I got all the deck spacing figured out. Deck and level spacing is figured out. Main deck level figured out. This thing's gonna have midget. It's even gonna have bullseyes. We'll put bullseyes in it. Yeah. So you could figure out where you are, or else it'd be really difficult to maneuver this whole thing. I'm filling the whole thing up. There is 24 levels and 20 decks. Yeah, it's big. 1.17 kilometers long. It's 1-to-1, Buzz. So it means it's this 1-to-1 means it's this. So that's a ship from sci-fi. Obviously, that thing doesn't exist in real life. If it did, it'd be like 3 Nimitz class carriers long. It's freaking huge. It's 1-to-1 scale from the game, from the Halo games. Yeah. No Warthog run because it's impossible. Oh, I have some tricks up my sleeve, Midge. Don't you worry. I got some tricks up my sleeve. Rocket City stream if you want to raid. The snowball's at your front door. I know, Tessa. I got him in yesterday. Yeah. So if you like Halo, that's what I do before I do space news every day. Midge, like I said, we got some tricks up our sleeve here. I know about the Warthog run. I know about the scaling issues. We can't obviously do the Maw, but I got some tricks up my sleeve. We'll figure it out. It's not gonna be as long, but we'll figure it out. Oh, I got some tricks up my sleeve, dog. Don't you worry. And then build high charity? No, probably can't. Bam, you're out on sea deployment. Right on. Yeah, we got I got some tricks up my sleeve. You're so production oriented. Much respect. Thanks, Buzz. That's how I roll, dude. I'm a STEM streamer, dude. I teach people about everything, like space flight, grading roads. When I play city building games, I grade all my roads. All my roads are graded correctly with profile curves in any city game that I play. Could be City Skylines, could be City Skylines 2, could be Workers and Resources. I don't care. I don't give a frick. I grade my roads. You know why? Trucks go faster if you grade the roads because it's flatter, depending on where you're grading. Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. Teach people all kinds of things. I'm a STEM streamer, dude. You want to know how a train works? Teach you how a train works. Want to know how a plane works? Gotcha. Trucks, whatever. City Skylines has that level of depth. Cities doesn't, but another city building game that I play called Workers and Resources has a profile curve tool built, there's a profile tool built into it so you can get the terrain profile. I graded all of my railroads with no more than a 2% grade in that game, and I graded all of my highways in that game with no more than a 5% grade. Yep, everything is graded correctly. I love grading roads. That's my favorite thing to do in city builders. To the point where chat's like, oh my God, you're still grading the road. I'm like, you're damn right I am. Anyway. Want a job? I'll teach you to run a grader. If this whole streaming thing doesn't work out for me, brother, I might take you up on that. I know somebody that's in the hoisting business in Central Florida, though. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd rather the crane to move the rockets around. The crane to pick the sucker up might be a good idea. But anyway. All right, dudes. I'm going to get some sleep. I've been up since 4 a.m. That was the last. Lars, please. Okay. I got to say, I'm not keen on playing the Halo series, so I've been reading the lore. What the heck, dude? Just like, well done. I love Halo. Halo's my jam, man. I wasn't always into like regular spaceflight stuff, guys. I loved sci-fi. The reason why I love sci-fi is because it seemed like learning about sci-fi stuff is good because we weren't ever getting near there anytime soon. But that ain't happening no more. That ain't happening no more. That ain't happening no more. We're almost there, man. One final effort is all that remains. Bum, ba bum, bum, bum. I can tell you love sci-fi first. I'm a nerd, man. What do you want? I'm a freaking nerd. What do you want? Like, that's what I do. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I hate to cut and run early, but this week is going to be kind of condensed streams. I'm only doing 8-hour streams because I'm looking after my dog because my wife's out on business. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at noontime. Same time, same place. Once again, we're only at 7-hour 34, which is gross. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. This concludes our broadcast. This concludes our broadcast day. Give me 1 second. All right. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.